Let us pay homage to the lineage gurus, homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming, homage to Master Sakya Zeng Kong, homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, and homage to Master Dubden Dorje. Homage to the three jewels of the altar, and homage to the main deity of the group practice tonight, the greatly loving and compassionate Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva, and his myriad emanations. Sumo, Tanzan Katso, Tutan Siti, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples present here and over the internet. Good evening. How do you do?
Aishiteru Shanange Hola amigo Te quiero mucho Scoin Ichiban Kimochi Jumi Yapi Purin purin Konbanwa.
Good evening, everyone. Those were greetings in different languages. Tonight we had the group practice of Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva.
Saturday night, 8 o'clock. 我们在西雅图雷藏 Temple。这个八大本尊都有同修。每一次
We have group practice for one of the 8 principal deities every Saturday night. Recently, every time I sit on this Dharma throne, my whole self disappeared. So if you say that Grandmaster fell asleep, did I nod my head earlier today? Nope. So I've trained myself. I could sit upright. But even the voice of the MC, I couldn't hear. I did not hear any of the MC except the last overall merit dedication. Then I opened my eyes. Was it Lian Xi that told me to clip on the microphone? In the past, every time I heard asking Grandmaster to do the overall merit dedication, I would do it. I would clip the microphone. But luckily, I still remember that the group practice tonight is Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. So I shouldn't make mistake. But that's how it was. Very strange. Every time when I meditate, I disappeared completely. I,
像今天晚上，
like
不知道
tonight,
多
I
少
did not see how many of you are
我也不
here.
知道我坐在哪里。
I did not know where I sat,
那
where I was.
就是有一段时间啊，这一段时间
There
完全
was
是
a
没有，
period of time that
什么都没
was
有，
completely
就
gone.
是我不见，
Nothing. I
大家不见，
disappeared. Everybody else
西雅图列
disappeared.
上寺也不见。
The Seattle Lechang temple also disappeared.
那你到底在哪里？
So
也不见。
where were those? They all disappeared.
就是这个状况。
So
我觉得这样
that's
子很好，
the situation.
符合我们讲
That's
经上
very good. It complies with the
无我
Vajra
相，
Sutra. The non-phenomena of self, non-phenomena of others, non-phenomena of sentient beings, and non-phenomena of
也
lifespan.
不见。
Even the time
我也不
disappeared.
知道我坐多久，
I did not know how long I had
通通
been
都不见。
sitting. Everything disappeared.
时间
Time,
我也不知道。
I was not aware of it.
这个刚好连续来叫我说别这个麦克风，
And then she asked me to clip on the
稍微听到
microphone.
一点说
And I heard
总
us
回向，
vaguely overall metta dedication.
然后再想起，哦，
And then
刚
the
刚
thought
刚开始的时候
arose
好像有一点记忆是
in the beginning
是修观世音菩萨啊，修观世音，
that I thought
是这样子。
this is the practice of Avalokitesvara.
整
That's
个
how
人
it was.
其实啊，也不是很，
My whole person was,
我现在精神好得很呢。
it's not that I was dazed. I'm very
你
awake.
说太累了，睡着了，也不是，
If you say that I was too tired and fell asleep, no, that's not the
根
case.
本还是清楚的。这个心
It was still very lucid. It was very clear in my
当然也
mind,
没有心了，
but there's
但
no
是始
mind
终还是有
either.
点
But
有一点清明。
vaguely, there was still some
清
lucidity,
楚明白。
a situation where lucidity was still there, lucidity and clarity.
这个将来我会把这一段时间的这个，像上个
In the
礼拜
future,
礼拜天，上个礼拜的礼拜六，我也是这个样子，
it's the same last Saturday.
这个样子，好几个礼拜都是这个样
For
子。
several weeks, that
最
was
近
the
打坐也
case.
是这个样子，一打坐
And recently, as soon as
人就不见，
I meditate, I disappear
有时候一
completely.
坐，晚上
Sometimes at night,
这
as
个差不多1点的时候一坐，
at 1 a.m., I start to sit
然后
and
也不知道
meditate,
坐了多久，时间根本就，
and then don't
然
know
后
for how
看我
long.
自己那个墙上，等到眼睛张开的时
And
候，
then
看
when
自
I
己墙上的
reopen
那
my
个
eyes and see the clock on the
4点
wall, it's 4 a.m.
4点
So from 1 to 4 a.m.
这样子。那这当中这3个小时就不见了，
And these 3 hours
没有
disappeared.
无受则相，这是无受则相。
This is the non-phenomena of
3个小时不
lifespan.
见了，
lifespan.
是无受则相。
The 3 hours disappearance of the 3 hours.
这个
That means the non-phenomena of
我遇
lifespan.
到这个贤手菩萨，贤手菩萨，
Oh, I met the
我问这是什么
the
状况？
worthy leader Bodhisattva, and I
贤手菩萨
asked
回
him,
答
what
不
situation
存在
is
的
this?
存在，
This is the existence within non-existence.
不存在的存在。
So the existence amidst non-existences. So I asked him, so isn't it non-existence, then why is there existence amidst the non-existence?
他跟我讲，
And he said
其中有物。
that amidst it
他的回答，
there
其
is
中有物，
something.
这刚好合于老子讲，
And that answer complies
仿佛
with what
其中
Lao
有
Tzu
物。
said, that vaguely in a daze there is something.
然后我就很
In
高
a
兴地
haze,
对
not daze,
显手菩萨讲，
vaguely.
哇，
So I
哇，
told
我
the
成就了，
worthy leader
我
Bodhisattva,
成就了。
oh, I have attained
他没有，
the
他没
CD.
有讲粗话，是我自己讲粗话。说屁了，成就。
And he did not say it, but I say it.
什么成就？
Nonsense.
你自
What
己
kind
认
of
为如果
attainment
有
is
成就
that?
的话，就产生了高傲的心，
If you think that you have
你就不是成就
attainment,
者。
then you have pride, then you will not be the one with attainment
如
or
果有人
Siddha.
经常这样子想，我是开悟的，
If
我已经
someone
开悟了，
often thinks that I'm the enlightened one, I have gained enlightenment,
你这句话
or
就
I
是
have
表示
been
你没有
enlightened.
开悟。
If you say such a statement, that means you're not enlightened.
那要怎么讲？我问显手菩萨要怎么讲？
Then I asked the worthy leader Bodhisattva, what should I say
他
then?
说不可说，
And he said,
是不要也不要讲，
it's inexplicable. It
是
cannot be
开
put
悟就
into
开悟嘛，
words. So if you're
啊
enlightened,
自
you're
己明白
enlightened.
就好。
As long as
你也不要
you
讲说哦，我
know
就是
it,
开悟者。你常常
your
讲说，
self
哎，我是开
nature
悟者，
is
讲说自己
clear
开
about
悟，
it, that's fine.
那个已经
That's it,
变
that's
成
all.
凡夫。
But if you often think that, oh, I'm the enlightened one, then you're just a mundane being.
这个
That's what he said.
很有趣，这个观世音菩萨
So that's
在
very
心经里面
interesting.
有告诉我们，
So Avalokitesvara
进入
Bodhisattva
最深的禅
told
定
us
里
in the
面，
Heart Sutra, when he deeply penetrated, when he went into the deepest
它是色
meditation,
不异空，空不异色，
form is
色即
not
是
different
空，
from
空
emptiness,
即是
emptiness
色，
is not different from form, and form is emptiness, and emptiness is
完
form.
全没有，
And
色空都不见。
there is nothing. Both form and emptiness
所
are
以接
gone.
下去讲了，无眼耳鼻舌身意。那
And
个
then
时候
following
我
it is
们人
no
认为
eyes,
自己
ears,
存
nose,
在这
tongue, body,
娑
and
婆世
mind.
界，
So
是
we
你
human
靠自
beings
己的感
think
觉去
that we
感觉
exist
出
in
来
the
的。
Saha world that's based on your
什么感
own
觉？
sensations.
眼睛看嘛，
So what kind of sensations?
眼睛
Is
里
through
有
what you
看到
see
啊，
with your eyes,
耳朵有听到啊，
through what you hear with
鼻
your
子有嗅
ears,
到啊，
what you smell with your
舌头
nose,
有味觉啊，
what you taste with your tongue,
身体有触觉啊，
or what you feel with your
还有
body,
你的
or what you touch with your
你有想
body,
法，有念头啊，
or you have thoughts
是你用
and
这种六
perceptions.
种感觉去觉得你存
So
在这个娑婆世界。
through the six
如
senses,
果没有这
you
六种
perceive
感
that you
觉，
exist in the Saha world. If you don't
你
have
根
the
本
six
就不
senses,
存在这个世界。
then you don't exist in this world.
所以有一个这个就是存在
So
哲学，
there was
笛
existentialism.
卡尔吧，叫做笛卡尔，他写说：“我思故我在，因为我有想，
Tikar.
所以我在。
I think, therefore I am.
我思故我在，就是我见故我在，我听
So
故我在。”
I see, therefore I am.
哦，
There I hear,
还有
therefore I am.
因为有呼吸，故
I
我在；因为有
breathe,
味觉，
therefore I
故
am.
我在；
I taste,
因为有
therefore I
触
am.
觉，
That
故
was
我在；
Descartes.
最后是
Descartes.
我有思想，故我
And
在。
lastly, I think, therefore I am.
当
I
你这
think,
六
therefore I
种感
exist.
觉都没有的时候啊，就是
When
观
you
世
don't
音
have
菩萨的
these
禅定，
six sensations, that would be the realm of
无眼
the
耳鼻舌
meditation
身
of
意， 无
Avalokitesvara.
色声香味触法，
So no eyes,
无眼界，
ears, nose, tongue, body, and
无
mind,
亦无明明尽，无就是无明也都没有。
and no form,
所以
perception,
卢师尊啊，
action,
告诉大家，
volitions, and consciousness.
心经里面讲的
The
就是
Heart
证
Sutra.
悟的真理。
So
金刚
that's
经
why
里
I'm
面
telling
所讲
everybody what
证
is
悟的
written in the Heart Sutra is the
经典
ultimate truth
也是
of
真理，也是真理。
enlightenment. So it is
人是活
the
在感觉之
Sutra
中，
of enlightenment, and it's
如
also
果
the
没有
ultimate
感
truth.
觉了，就
So
什么都
human
没有。
beings exist amidst these sensations. If sensations do not exist, nothing exists.
所以今天的修行就是教大家，跟大家讲，
So
你能够
in spiritual cultivation, I'm teaching all of you.
控制你自己本身的感
If you
觉，
can control your own sensations,
控制你自己本身的感觉，而不入于感觉
if
的
you
迷
can
之中，而不
control
是入于感
or
觉
in
的迷
charge
之中，
of your own
而是从
sensations
感
and not
觉
be
之中
deluded
醒
by
过来，
your sensations, if you can be awakened from your own
从感觉
sensations
之
and
中醒过
perceptions,
来，叫做开悟。
that is called enlightenment.
入于感觉的迷中，就是
But
凡夫。
if you are amidst your sensations or be deluded by it or be held bondage by it, then you're just a mundane being.
自我控制你的感觉，
If you can control
自
your
我控
own
制你自己本
sensation
身的感觉，而不入迷的话，
and not be
你就
carried
有
away
机
by
会
it,
可以
not
开
be
悟。
deluded by it, then you have an opportunity to gain
这个
enlightenment.
就是修行。
And that would be spiritual
如果
cultivation.
任
That
凭
is
感觉去
spiritual
运作你
cultivation.
自己啊，你就是凡夫。
So if you operate based on your own sensations, then you're just a mundane being.
而你能够从感觉里面跳出来，
But if you can jump out from your own
你就是开悟。
sensations, then you are enlightened.
那今天跟大家讲，好，
That's what I am teaching you today.
这也是一种智慧啊。今天
Ah,
讲
this is
讲第一
also
个
a
小
kind of wisdom in
这
sharing my
小
joke.
孙女
The little
跟她的阿嬷
granddaughter
讲，
told
阿嬷
her
问
grandma,
小孙女问阿嬷，阿嬷，
Grandma,
什么叫做成长？
what is
什么叫做成
growing
熟？
up?
有什么不一样？
And
Okay,
what
Amma.
is maturity? What's the
成
difference?
长就是你原
Growing
来
up
不明白的事，
Is
后来明白。
you understand
这个
what
叫
you did not understand before.
那小孙女问，那什么叫做成熟呢？
And the little granddaughter asked again, so what is
阿嬷跟她
maturity?
回答，
And the grandma
就是
replied,
你已经知道的事，
things
装
that
作
you
不知
know,
道。
oh, you pretend that you don't know what you know.
你已经知道的事，却装作不知道。
So you pretend
所以师尊是知
not to
道
know what you know.
什么叫做开悟。
So Grandmaster knows what is
但不是
enlightenment.
每天跟人家讲我是开悟的，
But I'm
是
not
开悟
telling
的。
everybody all the time that, hey,
我是
I'm the
开悟的。
enlightened one.
不要 这样子讲。
I am the enlightened one. No, you don't say that.
因为你如果有开悟的想法，我已经不开
Because
悟了，
if you
你
have
没有开悟。
thoughts about enlightenment, that
因为
means
开
you're
悟
not
的知道
enlightened. Because the enlightened
空
one
无
would
一
know that there is nothing at all.
空无一物。
Everything is empty. Completely
那
empty.
人间是什么呢？
And what is the human world?
人间就是 play game，
Is
就是玩
games.
游戏。
It's to play the
你
games.
在玩一种游戏，你就是在游戏。
So to live in this human world is to
你
play
在
a kind
游
of
戏
game.
当中还能够保持着你自己
And
的
in
清明，
playing the games, if you can maintain
这个
your
就
own
是
clarity, that is called enlightenment.
你在游戏当中已经入了迷的，
However, if you
这个就是凡夫。
get deluded by the games, then you're just a mundane being.
老板将一笔讨债的任务交给美丽又怀了孕的员工，于是
The
这
boss
位员工每
gives
天都到对方的公司，也不提
something to
要
the
债的
employee
事、要账的事，只是在柜
and
台摸着肚子问接
she
待小姐：
did not
你们
ask
的经
for
理在
the bill anymore, and all she does
半个
is
月
just
后
rubbing her tummy
欠债的
belly and said, "Is your
老板
boss here?"
打电话给我的老板，
And then in half
钱
a
可以一
month,
分不少还给你，但
the
请
boss
你
called
那
my
个女
boss.
员工跟我
I
老
can
婆
pay
解释，
I can pay in
她
full,
真
but
的
ask
只
the
是
female
在讨债。
employee to explain to my wife that she's only asking for payment. I'm sorry, I missed the very beginning there.
现在呢，进入你问我答。
Now we will do the question and answer.
台湾的莲花玉泉问的，
Asked by Lianhua Yiquan from
敬礼
Taiwan.
至上的化身，莲生
Homage to the
圣尊
supreme emanation, the
弟子
Dharma
想
King
请问
Liansheng.
圣尊：一，
I would like to ask
大
this
放
question.
化网金
For
刚，
Mahotara
据
Heruka,
传说是八大哈鲁嘎合一变现
according
法
to
身
the legend, is the
因此，弟子们在观顶后
Dharmakaya
大放
of
化网金刚后，
the emanations of the 8 great
八大
Herukas.
哈鲁嘎的
So
衣柜
after I receive the empowerment for Mahotara, so can I
大放化
also
网金刚
read
据传
the
说是八
sadhanas
大
for
哈
the
鲁嘎
8
合
great
一变
Herukas?
现的法身？因此，弟子们
So
在
I
观顶
heard
后大放化网
that
金刚后，
Mahotara is
能翻阅
the
八大哈鲁嘎
Dharmakaya
的
of
衣柜。
the 8 great Herukas.
请问
So
圣尊，
second question,
金刚颂要修到什么程度？
what is the level I should reach when I practice the Vajra chanting
保平气密
before I can start practicing the treasure vase energy
要修
yoga?
到什么程度才
So
可以
what level of
开
Vajra
始
chanting
去修保平气？
before practicing the treasure vase energy yoga?
这是两个问题。
Two questions.
大放化网金刚传说是
Mahotara
八
Heruka.
大哈鲁嘎合一变现的法身，
I heard is the Dharmakaya of the emanation of the 8 great Herukas.
八大哈鲁嘎
Anybody knows if that is the case?
有人知道吗？这句话 自哪个经典？
And which sutra did it come from?
八大哈鲁嘎。哦 ，OK。好，那个
那里面就包含八大这个哈鲁嘎，对，它是弘教最高的法，里面就含这八大哈鲁嘎尊。
没有错。
That is correct.
因为这个藏密四教当中
The four orders, the four sects of Tibetan Buddhism,
萨迦教
according to what we
萨
know,
迦教
in
华
Sakyapa,
教，
the Sakya sect,
它比较尊崇喜金刚，
they
师尊有写过
revere
喜金刚
Hevajra. And Grandmaster had written a book on the exposition on Hevajra.
这个喜金刚。那么白教
And for Kakyupa,
叫尊崇圣乐金刚，
they
圣乐金刚
they rather they revere
这个
Chakrasambhara
密集金刚，
and Guyasamaya.
这是白教。白教
That's
比较
the
尊崇圣
Kakyupa,
乐
the
金
white
刚
sect,
密集金刚。
Chakrasambhara and
那
Guyasamaya.
黄教
And the
比较
Gelugpa,
尊
the
崇
yellow sect,
大威德金刚，
they
大威德
focus
金刚
more on
大部分
Yamantaka.
是这样子的。
Typically
花教
speaking,
萨迦教大家都知道是喜金刚，
and we all know Hevajra associated with Sakyapa,
是黄教。
and Yamantaka with
Hongjiao.
Gelugpa. And for
大放花
Nyingmapa,
王金刚
that's Mahotara Heruka.
其实4个教派也都有修这些法，
But actually,
都有修这些
they
法。
also cross, they also practice
那
all
么
of them.
大放花王金刚
So
是
Mahotara
红
Heruka
教，
is
就是以前的宁玛派
the Nyingmapa
宁玛
or the red sect,
宁玛格卢
Nyingma,
萨迦
Gelug, Sakya,
跟这个格举格
and
举
Kakyu,
这4个教派，
the four
那么宁玛
sects.
就是红教，
And Nyingma is the red
宁玛派
sect.
就是红教。红教是属于旧教，也就是莲花
And
大
that's
士
considered
所
the
传的
oldest sect, which was transmitted
他的这
directly
个
by
金
Guru
刚是大放花
Padmasambhava.
王金刚，
And the Heruka
那个
is
十人
Mahotara
金刚
Heruka.
是属于
And
4个教
Kalachakra
派共同尊崇，
is common to all
所以
four
这里面包
sects.
括5大金刚法，
So
藏密的5大金刚。
it includes the
密集金
5
刚
Herukas, Dhamma
密集金刚
practices of
圣
Tibetan
乐金
Buddhism.
刚
Guyasamaya,
喜金刚
Chakrasamvara,
大威
Hevajra,
德金刚
Yamantaka,
大放化王金刚
Mahotara.
这是5大金刚。5大金
They
刚
are the 5
另
Herukas,
外呢，有的时候
about
就把
5
十论金刚
Heruka
也加进来，
practices. And sometimes they also add
就变成
Kalachakra.
5大金刚法是这样子的。
So the 5
那八
great
大哈鲁
Heruka
嘎合一的
practices.
变现的法身，因此弟子
So
弟
the
子们在灌
Dharmakaya
顶
of
大
the
放化王
8
金刚后，
Herukas
能不
emanations.
能翻阅
So
八
if
大
I
哈鲁
receive
嘎
the
的
empowerment for Mahotara, can I also read the sadhanas
我
for the
请示一下，
other 8 great Herukas?
因为这个是
Let me
他提出来
consult
的问题，
the
一般人
question
很
he
少人
asked.
去说哦，你灌顶了大放化王金刚以后，
After
你就
he
可以
received empowerment for
灌顶八
Mahotara,
大哈，就可以翻阅八大哈鲁嘎的仪轨。
can you read the practice procedures for the 8 great Herukas?
他现在这样子指示啊，
So the guidance the I just received,
他讲有的可以
it's okay for some.
啊，灌顶过大放法王金刚，有的可以翻页八大哈鲁嘎的，
Some people who have received the
他说有
empowerment
的
for
不可以。
Mahotara can read the sadhanas for the other 8
那么我有
herukas,
问
but for
他，
some people are not
为
allowed.
什么有的可以，有的不可以？
So I asked earlier why
他说
some
你修
okay
大
for
放
some but
法
not for
王金
others.
刚的时候，修这个大放法王金
And
刚，
the reply was,
你
in
亲自见
practicing
了大放
Mahotara
法王
Heruka,
金刚的本尊，
and if you personally had the vision of
翻页
the
八大
Mahotara
哈鲁嘎的
Yidam,
仪轨。
then it will be okay for you to read the
当
sadhanas
你
of
开
the
始
other
起
8
修
great
大放
herukas.
法王金刚的时候，
When you just started practicing
你还
Mahotara
没有相应，
Heruka, and you have not
没有
gained
看
any
到本
spiritual
尊，
responses, not in spiritual union, or did not see the Yidam,
你不
or
可以
have
翻
not
页
seen the
八大
Yidam,
哈鲁嘎的仪轨。
then you should not
所以
read
讲有的可以，
the practice
有的不
procedures
可
of
以
the 8 herukas.
这意思就是在这里，
So
请大
that's
家
what
那
it
个
meant.
注意一下。
Yeah, pay attention.
大放法王金刚，
Okay for some, but
据
not for
传说是
others.
八大哈鲁嘎合一变现的法身。你只要跟大放法王金刚
So as
有
soon
相应的
as
现象的时候，
you have signs of spiritual unions with
你就可
Mahotara
以翻
Heruka,
页八大哈鲁嘎的仪轨。
then you can read the practice
如果
procedures
刚刚
of the
起
8
修
great
刚
herukas.
刚灌顶过，
If you
还
just
不可
received
以
the
翻页八
empowerment
大哈鲁嘎，
and you just
否则你来求八大哈鲁嘎
start on your practice, then you should not.
就可以。
Else, you
这样了
can
解。
always request for the empowerments of those herukas, then you can, after receiving the empowerment.
请问圣
So
尊，
is this
金
okay?
刚颂要修到什么程度才知道可以开始起修保平气呢？
So, to what level of Vajas chanting practice should I reach before I can practice the treasure based energy yoga?
念到你自己感觉到
You should practice the Vajra chanting
你
until you
身上有
feel
气，
that there is qi inside your
你
body.
有没有感觉到你身上有气呢？
Do you feel that you have qi inside your body?
应该可以感觉到的。
You should feel it, right?
像这个气呀、只要印到这个指头，
Like when the qi is moved to this
它手掌就
fingers,
会张开，合起来
then the fingers expand
打开。
by themselves and
这个
close.
不是我叫它打开的，它自己会打开。
I
会
don't
合起来
do it consciously, but they
印到指头。
open and close by themselves. I transport the qi to my fingers.
这个就是你气能够到指头就到指头，到脚趾头就
So
到
you
脚
can
趾头
make your qi to go to the fingertips or to toes or to the ears.
啊，气印到耳朵。
I directed the qi
气
to
到
my
耳朵
ears,
耳朵它就会动啊。
and the ears moved.
啊，你气到眼睛，
And the
打开
qi
眼
to
睛，
the
你
eyes,
的眼睛就有气呀、
then there will be qi
你到鼻子
in your
到哪里？你
eyes,
到喉咙，
to the
气
nose
可
or
以
to
到喉
the
咙，可以
throat
到顶，一直下来
or
到心轮，
to the
到
top of
气
the
轮
head,
到密轮，
to the heart chakra, the
你就
navel
可以修保
chakra,
平气啊。
secret chakra, then you can practice the treasure based energy yoga.
所以先修金刚颂，修
So
到你知道
practice the Vajra chanting first until you know that you have qi inside your body. Then that will be fine.
啊，像我常常稍微做一下哈，
I often is it? Oh,
这个
I
气
often
可以
show
到这个
this.
牙齿啊，
And the qi can also
牙齿
reach
都
the
会
teeth.
你有听到牙齿的声音吗？
And did you hear the teeth tapping?
刚刚有没有听到牙齿的声音？
Did you hear?
有没有？气
Did
可
you
以到
hear?
牙齿啊，
Yeah, the qi can also
都可以
reach the teeth.
可以动的，到脚
The
趾头
qi
啊，
can move. The toes.
到全身上，到偏行气，可以边行气，
The peripheral qi.
你自己知道气已经在你身体里面走动。
So when you know for yourself that the qi is inside your body and it can move, then of course you can practice the treasure vase energy yoga and to gather it at your navel chakra to make it enter the central channel so that the central channel is full of qi. Of course you can practice the treasure vase energy yoga because the yoga is to make the qi to enter central channel so that the outer convenient qi is transformed into the wisdom qi inside the central channel. So if you practice Vajra chanting and you feel that you have qi on your body, then you can start practicing the treasure vase energy yoga. That's my answer to the second question. And the next asked by Yanhua Jinsen from Malaysia. I would like to ask a question about romance. If I'm chanting a mantra and to pray to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to bless me, to bless a girl to like me, so my question is, will I succeed if I focus on my chanting? Is it okay if I just chant Padma Kumara mantra? If I chant mantra and pray to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to bless a girl to like me and to show interest in me, will I succeed if I focus on my mantra chanting? And is it okay if I just chant Padma Kumara mantra? That's his question. He likes a girl and he prayed to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to bless this girl so that she likes him and shows interest in him. What kind of mantra should he chant? Magnetizing mantra, mantra for love and respect.
Guru Gure Shet Soha. Om Guru Gure Shet Soha. Om. Om Guru Gure Shet Soha. Om Guru Gure Shet Soha. 这是 Guru Gure 敬爱咒。
That's the Guru Gule magnetizing mantra. Om Guru Gule Sit Soha. This is quite special. And also Ragaraja mantra.
Om Chazi Hom Re. Hom Chazi Hom Re. Hom Chazi Hom Re. Hom. Om Chazi Hom Re. Om Chazi Hom Re. Om Chazi Hom Re.
Or Ragaraja mantra. So you should chant either Guru Gule or Ragaraja mantra. They are magnetizing deities. It's better if you chant the magnetizing mantra. Can't you learn to practice the Guru Gule 10 directional arrow shooting practice? You set up a magnetizing altar, you make offering to Guru Gule Buddha Mother, and you set up the arrows toward 10 directions, and you visualize Guru Gule Buddha Mother above, below, and in the 8 directions. And then they become the bows and arrows made of flowers. And then you visualize the girl that you like, and the arrow made of flowers to be shot toward her, and visualize her to walk toward you. And unite with you. So that's like a spell for love. There are many rituals for love. The other day I taught the practice of like a Cupid, you know, the love spell on that fool, that if the two of them take it, that they would be in love with each other. It just so happened Master Lian Chuan was talking about it at dinner. So you can make it happen, or you can break it apart too. So there's a method to unite them or to divorce them. So in Tantric Buddhism, it's called the magnetizing practice. And we have 2 deities for it. One is Guru Gule Buddha Mother, and the other one is Ragaraja. He said, okay if I just chant Padma Kumara mantra? Then that would be me loving someone, or someone's loving me. If you have gained spiritual union in your Padma Kumara practice, and you chant Padma Kumara mantra, and you visualize her to like you, that's okay. It should be okay. Because you're already in union with Padma Kumara, that means you are Padma Kumara. So of course that will be fine. And the next question by the same person from Malaysia. If I like to generate the power of the mind to resolve my problems, do I need to use my concentration? Or do I need a meditation to generate the power of the mind? So concentration. So you meditate in order to reach concentration or to be focused. If you can be in concentration, then of course you would generate power. So meditation is one of the methods to reach concentration or focus. So if you meditate, but you have running thoughts all over and you cannot collect them to become one thought, then the power is dispersed. Because the goal of meditation is to concentrate. I've said it.
变
What is
成一。
meditation? Is from many to become one.
专一了，你已经专一
So
了，
once you're
就
single-minded,
无事不成。
then you can do anything.
一是非常重要的，一
This
是非
one
常重要。
or
你念头能够专一，我们
singleness
讲说那像
or
太阳照
single-mindedness is
分散
extremely important. If you
那
can be
你拿放大镜，
single-minded, it's
这
like
个
the
太阳
sun
的光，把它
rays
收起来，
which is dispersed, and then
成
you
为一
use the
点的
magnifying glass,
一点的
it
光，
would focus it
你放
into
在那
one
个好像
point.
是说那个纸易燃的纸上面，
And if you
变成
focus
黑
it on a
色，
piece of
然后
paper,
光
there would be dark
就产生了火啊，
on the
这
paper
就是一的
and
力量。
fire
专
would
一的
be
力量。
lit. So that's the power
那
of
你打坐就是
single-pointedness
把你的所有的念头全部
or
没有，
single-mindedness.
变成一个力量，
So when you meditate, is you transform all the thoughts
它
into
就是专
one.
一啊。
Then that would be single-mindedness.
啊，日常生
concentration
活要有用意念的力量来解决问题。
So I
是不
want to
是
use
要
the power of the
要
mind
用
to
专
resolve
一的
my
力量就
daily
会产生
problems.
力量，没有错。你
So
用
do
专
I
一的
have
力
do
量
I generate the
就会产
power
生力量出
by
来，用
concentrating?
专一的
Yes.
念头就会产生力量出来。
So if
那意
you
念的力量
are
是要用
single-minded,
修
then
法
you would
打坐
generate the
才会
power.
产生出来。打坐只是你的一个方法。
So meditation is only one of the methods to reach
所以一般
single-mindedness.
人是靠打坐
So
训
most
练
people
专一的
use
意念，
meditation to train in the
一
single-mindedness
最
or
后还要
concentration.
融入零，
And
融入
after you
变
reach
成
the
连一都
single
没有了。
mindedness, then you
这是
have
师尊
to merge or
今
to
天在
melt it
法座
into
上
zero
刚
or
刚讲过的，
nothingness. That nothing exists,
你
which
自
is
己
what
不
I
见
just mentioned when I was seated here earlier,
底
that
下
you
的
disappeared.
也不见了，
The surrounding peoples
陪
disappeared.
葬室也不见了。
The temple disappeared.
那司仪在讲什么？
And
不
whatever
见，
the MC said
也听不到，
disappeared. Could not
完
be
全
heard.
融入了空，
You completely merge with the emptiness.
唯有一点清明在，
Only a slight
就是
lucidity
不
was there,
存在的存在。
and that is existence amidst non-existences.
啊，这是回答马来西亚莲花净圣。
That's my answer to Lianhua Jinseng from Malaysia.
我们讲《金刚经》，它
Now we will expound on the Vajra Sutra.
老公讲完了，
The
车坏
husband
了，
said, "Oh no, the car's
老婆
broken."
讲，亲爱
And the
的，
wife said, "But
找一个地方
honey,
住一晚吧。
let's get a place and stay a night."
找地方住有
And
什
the
么用？
husband said, "What use is that?"
老婆是讲，以
And the
前
wife said,
不是
"In the
车子坏了，
past,
你都找个地方住一晚吗？
like when the car was broken, then we just find a place to stay, and
老
the
公
next
回答
morning
那是
the
结婚
car
以前的啦，
was fixed by
这一次是
itself."
真的坏了。
Oh, that was before marriage, but this time it's really broken. 在捷运站看到一个发传 At the
发
bus
发宣传传单的漂亮
station,
的小姐，
there was a
在
beautiful
人群
girl
中好像
that's
在找什
distributing
经过
pamphlets,
她
and
身边的
she
时候，
seemed to be looking for something
这位
in
小
the
姐
in
微
the
笑的
crowd,
给我一张这个
and came forward,
也
and
是
she
传
gave
单。
me the pamphlet right away.
我心中想，
So I
为
was
什么那么
thinking to
多人
myself,
不发给她，偏偏发给
how
我？
come she didn't give to other
难道我
people?
是那
There's
么
so
吸
many
引人
people,
吗？
but instead
就
she
像
she
黑
gave it to
夜的
me.
萤
Am
火
I
虫，
so attractive,
那
like
样子
the
的心，
fireflies in the dark.
低头一看，
But when I
这
looked
个他
down
的这个宣传广告传单呢，
and saw
原
the
来是
pamphlet,
整形美容广告。
it's an ad for plastic surgery.
好啦，我们讲金刚经吧。
Okay, now let's talk
十经
about
功
the
德分
Vajra
第
Sutra.
15，
Chapter 15,
这里
the merits of
谈到，
upholding the sutra.
何况书写、手持、读诵，为人解说。须菩提，以要言之，是经有不可思议、不可称量。
It is even more so if he also writes, upholds, recites, and expounds it to
如来
others.
为发
Subhuti,
大
in
圣
sum,
者
the sutra has inconceivable,
为发
immeasurable, and
最
infinite
上圣
merits.
者说。
It is spoken by the Tathagata for practitioners of the great vehicle and the supreme vehicle.
好，我们今天就讲到这个点哈。 何
So
况
we
书
will
写、
talk
手持、
till
读诵，
this point.
为
It
人
is
解说。
even more so if he also writes,
以要
upholds,
言之，
recites, and
是
expounds it
经
to
有不
others.
可思议、不可
Subhuti,
称
in
量、
sum,
无边
this
功德。
sutra has inconceivable,
为发
immeasurable, and
大圣
infinite
者
merits.
说。为
It is
发
spoken
最
by the
上圣者
Tathagata for
说。
practitioners of the great vehicle and the supreme vehicle.
啊，《金刚经》就是有人写《金刚经》啊，有人
So some
常常用
people
笔来写这个《金
writes
刚经》。
copies the Vajra
那
Sutra
么
with a pen,
也有人这个
and
读
some
金刚
people
经、读诵《金刚经》
reads or
很多人
recites
这
the
个
Vajra Sutra.
啊，晚
Many
上啊或者
people
早上啊起来，他就念《金刚经》，
would
再
read
念一遍
the
《金刚
Vajra
经》。
Sutra in the morning or at night.
那么其中的受持我讲过了，
And I have explained about the upholds,
你懂得《金刚经》的要义，
that you understand the key
受持
essence
那
of
个
the
要
Vajra
义，
Sutra, and you
这一点最
uphold
重要。
that key point. This is most important.
你实践了《金刚经》的要义，这一点最重
And if you realize or you put it into practice the key points of the
要
Vajra
的
Sutra,
这个
this is most important.
《金刚经》的要义。无
The
我相
essential meaning of the Vajra Sutra
单单要做这个
is
无
the
我相就很
non-phenomena of self. Even just this is extremely difficult to do.
无我两个字本身就非常难。
Just the no self is extremely
其实《
difficult.
金刚经》的要义里面呢，你第一个
So
先
the key
修无我，
essence of the Vajra Sutra
先修无我。
is first you train to be no self.
那你今天会不会发脾气呀、
Did you
请问
lose your temper
从
today?
来不发脾气的人举手。
If you never ever lose your temper, please raise your hand.
我问你呀、没有
So
人举手。
I'm asking you,
但每
nobody?
个人都有脾气啊，
So
都有
everybody has
每
tempers.
个人都会有脾气。
Everybody.
其实我们家啊、我们祖传的有一个祖传的鼻涕。
So in our
我年轻的时候，
family,
我常常写文章的时候，
one
写
of
我们
the
家
hereditary thing is
红
our
命
temperament.
家的家族。
I wrote in the article
台
that
湾的爱
our family or our clan is the red
这个
duck,
听了不舒服，面孔
red-faced duck. Like when you hear something unpleasant or
火往上升，
uh,
脸就红，
that you don't like, that your face would be red because the fire rises and the face would be red. And not only the lips,
有时候是动手的。
or not only with the mouth, but sometimes
我
also
祖
with
父
the
是
hands.
听说这样子，我祖父
So we're the
我
hot-tempered,
祖父是卢昌，
the hot-tempered family. My grandfather was called Lu Chang.
我祖父是姓卢，那么一个武昌的昌哈，
So family name
两
Lu,
个字，两个
and the character is Chang, which is two,
两个太阳的
two sun.
卢昌。我是听我妈妈讲，有一次
I heard it from my mom.
大姐
One
就
time,
是
my
别的妈妈生的，
eldest sister, my sister that
别的妈妈
was
生我的姐，她在
born from a
车
different
车拆
mother,
她讲了
she
一句话，
was
我祖父
sewing,
从旁边走过去，她听到
and
就
my
高兴，
grandfather, the
她用手
grandfather,
推她的脑袋，
heard
放那
it,
个缝纫机，缝纫机的
heard the
铁啊
sound of the sewing machine, and he didn't like
血
it.
流如注，血流如
So he pushed her head toward the
是
sewing
我祖
machine,
父，
and so she bled. The blood just
我
gushed
妈妈
from
讲
her
给我
head.
听的，我祖
That's
父
my
的脾气
grandfather.
不好。
I heard it from my mom.
再来是我
He
父
was
是
very
遗传
hot-tempered. And
遗传
then
到
my
我父亲的
father
脾气，
got it from his dad.
他是日本人的精神啊，尼翁先生，
And
尼翁先生
he's like a Nihon sensei. He had the spirit of a Japanese
大男人主义啊。
husband, very
那我家有一个那个
male chauvinistic.
就是木剑啊，木剑。
And we have a wooden sword at my home.
木
My
剑是很粗的，
very thick.
前巴拉，Miyamoto Musashi，
Miyamoto Musashi.
Miyamoto Musashi，
It's a
Miyamoto Musashi，
actor, samurai actor. Miyamoto Musashi
他的剑术很高明，官本武藏的剑术。
had
看过他的
was
电影，
a great master for
看过
swordmanship.
他的电影，
If you have watched his movies,
这样子拿。
and he would hold it like
燕
this.
盘剑术，佐佐木小次郎，燕盘剑术，啊，之燕盘剑术， 扫过去再扫过来。
It's an art of swordsmanship that's
我
kind
被
of
父亲啊
like an infinity.
打到那个木剑都断掉，
And I was beaten by my father until that wooden sword was
木的
broken.
剑啊，这样子打，啪，
So he used the wooden sword and beat me like and hit me like that
你是木
until
头哎，那个是
the
很纤
wooden
维
sword
很
was
细的
broken.
木头，很粗的，
That
那
was
个
very
木片都
thick
打到断掉。
sword.
身上大概有铁吧，
So the sword was broken. So maybe I had iron on my body because the iron wins over the wood.
打到
So
断
it
掉。
was not flesh on my
我
body.
转过头跟他讲，
And the sword was
我会很
broken.
生气哦，
And I was also angry, and I turned my head and
我
told
会
him,
记得你这样子打我，
I will remember you beating me like
我永
this
远会记得你这样子
forever.
我大概3岁的时候啊，有一次我不吃药，
One time when I was about
从
3,
后面走过来，
I did not want to take the medicine, and he walked from behind,
饭桌上的椅子上抓起来，
and he grabbed
挤
me
到超
from
过头，
the chair of the dining
往空
table
中抛，就像抛篮球一样抛出去，
and
底下
raised
是
it
水
above
泥
his head and just throw me out like throwing a
知
basketball.
道吗？
And that was
从
cement
空中这
floor.
样子咻
So I flew in the air.
我妈妈赶快赶过来看，摸一摸，
And my mom rushed over and
还活着
checked under the nose. Oh, still some breathing. Still alive. He's still alive.
所以 从小被打了以后，
I was beaten so much when I was little, and I swore to the sky
不管小
that
孩，我的小孩子做了什么事情，
from then on,
我
doesn't
都不
matter
打孩子。
what my children do, I would never beat them.
从我那个开始，
So
我就
from
没有
then
打过
on,
孩子，没有。
and
佛经
and
跟
then
佛
later
经
on,
都
I
没有打过
never, I
只
have
有一
never
次，
beaten my children,
不是
for
打
Qing
他
and
们，
for Qi.
是我在打坐，
Only one
他们两
time, I
个在
did not beat them.
旁边
I
嘻
was
嘻哈哈的
meditating,
这样子玩。
and they were
我在静
playing
坐，
and
他们两个
laughing
就嘻
around
嘻
me
哈哈那边玩。
as I was meditating,
啊，两个人推来推去，推来推
and
去
they
这样，
push each other,
我就伸手推了他们两个一下，
and
就
I
只有
just
那一次，
pushed them out a
我推
little
了
bit.
佛经跟佛起一下，把他们推走。
Just one
推
time
了一
like
下，
that.
他们都永远记住我推他们一下。
And they always remember that, even
我
if
说
I
我
just
从来，
pushed them like that,
我你们从出生
lightly,
一直到
you
现在，
know. But
我从来
ever
没有
since you
打
were
过你。
born until now, I never beat you.
他说有啊，
I've never beaten you.
我
And
什
they
么时候
said,
有？
yeah,
推了我们一下，
you pushed me a little bit one
他们
time.
都记得，你看。
And they remember, wow.
所以脾气是每一个人都有。
So everybody has temper.
当你修到无我了，你根本就是圣人啊！
So when you practice until you reach the state of no self, then you are a sage. You have no self anymore.
你只做布施的工作，
All you do
像菩
is
萨一样做布
performing
施，
acts of
每天
giving
就是
like a
在
bodhisattva.
救人，在帮忙人
Every
家。
day you save
没有
people,
我，
help people, that you don't exist. There
就
is
像那个
no
天主教
self.
那个修女圣特丽莎，
Just like the Catholic nun, Mother Teresa.
我讲的，她把每一个人都当成上帝。
I've said it, that she treated everyone as God. You would never beat God, right?
她把
That would
每
be
一个人都
impossible.
当成上帝。
So
你不会被
she
上帝
treated
抓住吧？
everyone as God. You will not throw a tantrum to God, right?
只有用慈悲啊，跟恭敬的心
Only
对待每一个
with
人。
compassion and respect toward
圣特丽莎
everyone.
是这样子。
That's how Mother
还有一
Teresa
点很重
was.
要的，就是
And one
灵
more
王上次
thing
讲，
that's very important that was mentioned by Master Liang Meng.
圣特丽莎有讲过一句话，
Mother Teresa said,
将来如果我丰盛，天主教有丰盛圣人，
one day in the future, if I were to be
我不会到天
sanctified,
国，我不想去天国，
I don't want to go to heavens.
我要处在
I
人
want to
间
stay
娑婆世界
in
最
the
黑暗的地方，
darkest
继
place
续去帮助
in the Saha world to continue helping sentient beings.
哎，这个跟地藏王菩萨一样，
So that's the
你
same as
地
Siddhikarma
狱不空，
Bodhisattva,
我不成佛；
that
地狱不空，我不成佛。
who vowed that he would never become a Buddha unless hells are empty. So Mother Teresa also generated that
他不会
vow.
到天国，就算我
She
成了
w-
圣人，我也不会到天国。
She will not
我
go to
永远
heaven
处在
even if she
最
becomes a
黑暗
saint.
的地方。
She would
去
always
帮
stay
助
at the
众生。
darkest places to help
这个是
sentient
圣人。
beings. So that's a saint.
这个精神呢，就是佛教的这个精神啊，
So that's the spirit
无
of
我
Buddhism,
相的精神。
which is the non-phenomena of self. There is no self.
为自己想，
Fundamentally, no self.
为众生想，
You
为
don't
别人
think for
想。
yourself. You think for others. You think for sentient beings.
有恨了，
There
只
is
有
no
爱
hatred
众
then,
生。
only love for sentient beings.
这一点先修吧，对不对？
So
所以这个很
practice
重
this
要。
part first.
你要受持呢，
Practice this first. So
这
this is
些
important. To uphold
为人解说。我现在就是为
and expounds
为
it to
人解说，
others. Now I am expounding it to others,
为
explaining
人解说无我
the
相。
non-phenomena of self.
你要受持《金刚经》的要义最重要。
The most important thing is to uphold the
为人解
essential
说
meaning of the
什么是无我
Vajra
相，
Sutra, and then you explain it to
像
others.
圣菩提
What
萨，
is the non-phenomena
像
of
地
self?
藏王菩
To
萨，
expound what is the
就是
non-phenomena of
无
self.
我相。
Like Mother Teresa,
没有
like Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva,
没有
that's
到
non-phenomena of self.
这个好像是说四圣，他本来就是四圣界的，
They
但是
are
他本来
from
就
the
是圣
four
者，
sagely
这
realms.
他
They
灵
were
验处在
sages,
灵
but
验
they'd
处在
rather
最
stay
黑暗的地方
in the
去服务众
darkest
生，
places to serve sentient beings.
他不会有恨的，这个恨是没有的，
There is no hatred for
仇
them
恨，仇
whatsoever,
恨是没有的。
no
所
anger
以
and
我很
hatred.
尊敬我的父亲，
That's why
对他
I
完全没有
respect
这个恨意，
my father. I
没有
had
我的
no
父亲，
hatred toward
我
him
也
at
不会
all.
成长。
If I didn't have my father, I wouldn't have
不应有恨，
grown up.
我跟
So we
众
should
生
not have
都
any
不
hatred.
应有恨，我不恨
Toward
任
all
何人，
sentient beings, I don't have any hatred.
我只为众
I
生
don't
想，
hate anyone.
这个就是无我
I
相，
always think for them.
为人
So
解
this
说。
is non-phenomena of
我
self.
刚刚讲的就是为人解说，
So what I just said is expounding it
解
to
说什么
others,
是无我。
expounding what non-phenomena of self is.
那悉菩提以要言之，是经有
Subhuti,
不
in
可
sum,
思议、不可
this
称
sutra
量
has
无边功德。
inconceivable, immeasurable, and
我
infinite
们也不做
merits.
功德想，
We don't think
释
about
迦牟尼
doing
佛
good
讲说有
or
无边功德，
or creating merits. We don't think about creating merits.
心里想
Sakyamuni
着
Buddha said,
我这样做有功德，
there's infinite
那就是
merits.
没有功德。
If you think that by
因为
doing
你不
this
做
I would
功德
generate
想，
merits, then there
这
would
个
be
才是
no
功德。
merits. And because you're not mindful or you're not thinking about the merits,
所以我们
only
做任何
then
一件
it
事
is called the true
不要
merits.
有功德想，
So whatever we
因为你
do,
没有
don't
功
think
德
about the
想，你才是
merits.
功德。
And because you
你
don't
如果
think
有
about the
功德想，
merits,
就不是
they are the merits. If you
你
do,
没有功
then
德想，就是
it's
无
not
边功德。
merit. But if you don't think about the merits, then there would be the
释迦
infinite
牟尼佛讲
merits.
啊，不可思
That's
议，
what Sakyamuni
不
Buddha
可
said.
称量，没有办法比较，
Inconceivable, immeasurable.
它是
It is
无边
incomparable and infinite,
无边际的功德。
boundless merits.
如来为发大圣者说，为
It
发
is
最
spoken
上
by the
圣者
Tathagata for practitioners of the
释迦
great
牟尼佛
vehicle
是
and the
为
supreme vehicle.
大圣的人讲的，
So this is
为
spoken by
最上
Sakyamuni
圣
Buddha
的人讲。
for
佛教
those
有五圣，
practitioners of the
五
great
圣，
vehicle and the
一个
highest
是人圣，
vehicle. There are 5 vehicles in
一个
Buddhism.
是
One
天圣，
is the human vehicle for the human, vehicle of the
一个是
heavens,
声闻圣，
vehicle
Yes,
of the
it's awesome.
Sravaka, vehicles
Yes,
for the
awesome.
Bodhisattva, and vehicle for the Buddhahood.
人圣
Vehicles of the humans,
随心所欲而不逾矩，
it
随
talks
你的
about
心去做，随顺众生去做，
going with the
但是
flow to do
超
it,
过规矩，就是守
but
戒。
without violating the
不要
rules,
超越
abiding
那
by
个
the
规矩，
precepts.
那个规矩就是戒律，
So the rules are the precepts, so you
谁
don't
可以
go
随
over
心所欲
the
随顺
precepts.
去做，但
You
是你不
can
要超过
go
那个
with the
规矩。
flow and do it according to your
我们懂
wishes,
得
but not
人生
breaching the
做人的道理，
precepts.
孔子
So
孔
in
子
the
说过了
human
所谓
realm,
孔子
you need to know
圣
how to
专门
be
讲礼仪
a good
业
human.
啊，
So
业
Confucius
师书
talk about the
专门
analects,
讲这些东西，
the
里面所
the
讲到
analects and
孟子的学说，
the
都是讲
righteousness.
人生，
They're all
这
talking
是
about
佛
the
教，
the
这个
rules
是天圣，
or the systems in the human world.
耶稣基督讲的天国，
And the second one is the vehicle of the heavens,
你要当一个
which
义
is
人，
which was spoken by Jesus.
就可以到天国。
If you become
忠义的
a
这个义
righteous
你要
person,
做一
then
个
you would
义
go to
人，
heaven.
规规矩矩的做人，
A righteous
就是一个义
and a
人，
good person
你就可以到天国。
that follows all the rules, then you
啊，
go
你
to
做了功
heavens.
德，
That's the
善人
vehicle for the
就
heavens.
可以到天国。
Or if you're a
那
philanthropist,
是
you
属
have
天圣。
done good deeds, then you can go to heaven.
啊，第三呢，
And the
是
third
声闻圣，
vehicle is the vehicle
声
for
闻
the
圣已经到了
Sravakas
四圣界，
that already
声闻
reached
圣
the
就是
four
小圣，
sagely
他度
realms.
自己，
That's for the
但没有广
Hinayana
大去度众
vehicle.
生，
So they
只度
liberate
自己，
or deliver
而没有广大
themselves,
去度
but
众生
not
的，是小
widely
圣，
deliver
那就是
others.
声闻圣。
That is called the
再来就
Hinayana
是菩萨圣，
small vehicle
菩
or
萨圣更
Sravaka
高了。
vehicle. The next one is
那
the
菩萨圣
vehicle for the Bodhisattvahood.
就是
That's
只
already
为众
high.
生，
That's
不为
only
自
for
己，
sentient beings and never for themselves, for ourselves.
就是菩萨了。
That's a bodhisattva.
我简单这样子讲啊，
Just simply,
还
to
有很
put
多内
them
容，这个
simply,
是
there are more
上
to
圣
this, but
就是佛圣，
and the highest vehicle is for Buddhahood.
佛圣是什么？你开
And
悟
what
了，
is it? You have gained enlightenment,
无为而为，
and
不为什么，
you do things without any reasons.
不为什么而做，
So you do things without motives, without exertion, without
那
any
佛圣
reasons.
呢，就是讲
That's Buddhahood, the vehicle
Sutra.
for the Buddhahood. So it
这个
talks about,
自己度自己以外，
so
还度他。
on top of delivering yourself, you
解
also
脱。
deliver others, and you also
为谁讲的？
explain
释
and
迦牟尼佛
expound
讲
to
的经是
others.
为谁讲？
So the
为
sutra was
最
spoken for
上
whom?
圣者说，
For those of the highest
最
vehicles.
上者上圣者说，就是为佛圣
So
或者菩萨圣的
those who strive for
大圣
Buddhahood
就是菩
and
萨，
Bodhisattvahood.
大
So
大
the
圣
great
就是
vehicle or
最上
Mahayana,
就是
that's
佛
for
圣，
Bodhisattvahood, and the highest or the supreme vehicle is for Buddhahood. So humans,
菩
heavens,
萨
Sravakas, Bodhisattvas, and
最
Buddhas,
上圣就是佛，
and the highest
大圣就是菩萨。
vehicle, that's Buddha,
为菩萨的人讲，《金刚经》是为
and the great
菩萨的
vehicle is for
人
Bodhisattvas.
最
So
上
the
圣的
Vajra Sutra was spoken for Bodhisattvas
啊
and
自己度
those striving for the Buddhahood. So you deliver yourself and you also deliver others.
自觉觉他，
So
我是觉醒
you awaken yourself and
觉
others.
醒圆满，
So a Buddha has a
自觉
perfect
是菩萨，
realization and
觉醒圆满是佛，
conduct.
做到非常的圆满
So
就是佛。
only realization is bodhisattvas. When you do it perfectly, then that's a Buddha.
“跟老婆逛街，我不小心被鸟的屎
Ah,
那个
as we were
打中了我的手，在我手背上。
shopping with my wife,
老婆马上
a bird
翻开
put
她
on
自
my
己的
hand
皮包找东西，那一刻
and
我很感动。
she opened her
看见
bag
她
and
以为
looking
她
for
在找
something.
纸巾
I was
帮我
really
擦
moved. I thought she was looking for
结果呢？
tissues to wipe it. But who knows
对
that
着我的手猛拍照，
she was
我说别动别动，
taking her cell
这个
phone
注意
and
力
taking
实在太
photos
低了，我要上网。
and said, don't move, I want to upload it. This is such a rare statistics.
老婆买了一件1500块的衣服，
My wife bought
我说觉得有点贵哦。
$1,500 clothes, and
老
I
婆
said,
讲，
that's
我跟你
expensive.
说，
And
这
wife
件衣
said,
服原价是
expensive?
3000元，
Do you know that the
现
original
在
price was
特价打到对折，
$3,000
便宜
and
了一
it's
半，
half price?
就等于我赚了1500元。
So it's the same as
虽
I'm
然我
earning
花出去
$1,500.
1500元，但同时
Although
我
I
又赚
spent
回来
1,500,
1500元，
but I earned
所以这件
$1,500,
衣服等于是
so this
免
clothes
费的，
is
你懂
free.
吗？
Don't you understand?
老公的数学不太会。
So the husband was bad at math.
晚上跟老婆看电视，
At
突然
night,
手机有
my
人
wife
发
and
闹，
I were
响
watching
了一下，
TV and someone
正
sent a
准备
line
打开来看，
and I was
被
going
老
to
婆
open
一
it
把抢了过去，
and my wife
打开一
took it
看，
over
是他的女秘书发的。
and it was
它
the
上面
female
写的，
secretary and it wrote,
老板，我
Boss,
怀孕了。
I'm pregnant.
还没来得及说话，老婆
And
连续
before I
几个
say
巴掌
anything,
就上来，
my wife
紧
slapped
接
me
着
several
拳打
times
脚踢，
and
这个
then punched
打
me
破
and kicked
头了，
me
还骂。
and broke
在1分钟
my head
以后，
and
女秘
cursed.
书又发了一个难。
And
明
a minute
天
later,
我
there
带我
was
的男
another
朋友
chat.
去见父母，想请假1天，不好
Tomorrow
意
I
思。
will bring my boyfriend to see my parents, so can I have the day off?
这个老板讲了一句话：要求， 那
And the
那
boss
也不
said,
一次发完。
oh, jeez, why didn't she send the text together?
人间有很多的笑话。我买
Lots of
给你喝。
jokes in this world. 同安，你背你home.